like the inner critic and feedback, kind of, because your inner critic really is essentially your personal feedback,
right?
Like what you tell yourself. But so I'll set the stage for you. Happy Friday, by the way.
I like that our first one we like talk the whole show through.
Uh-huh.
We're like, and then we'll segue, and then we'll do this, and then you do, and now we're just like, let's talk.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Good to see you.
I got some for you once we go live. I'm going to read it to you, and I really hope your reaction's good.
No. We've talked a little bit about what we were going to talk about today. The thought was if you have tuned in before, you know that we kind of initiate our conversations by member comments or messages that we've received, and we happen to get some good ones this week. We dug into the archives.
Yeah.
But so I've had this kind of like inner critic feedback thought on the brain, and so last night, picture this. So I've had good Fridays.
I've
had like the summer Fridays where like my work week is shortened.
I love it.
And it really starts on like Thursday night, essentially. So I'm home last night. I have an egg chair that hangs under this beautiful tree with these cafe lights, and I brought out my water because I'm not drinking during the week.
Right.
And I was listening to a podcast or just something, just in my element, just lounging. And then Joel comes out the front and he's like, blah, blah, blah. And I can't hear him because, you know, I've got my shit going on. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Right? It was perfect. I'm good.
What he said, but yes.
I'm good. Yeah, you're getting in the car. I see you're leaving. We're good. I'm pretty sure you're going to come back, right? Like, I'm not super duper concerned. Love you.
Oh, I love it.
Love you, Joel.
Love you, Joel.
So, which just makes this even better. So at 8:19, I know this because I look at the time when I see that he's calling.
Uh-huh.
And he said, what did he say? Let me think. He said, I was trying to plug, so in this kitchen, we are in our own kitchen, which is open to the public, but we are in the process of like getting it all together. We have some cabinets over here between the fridges. That is a very temporary setup.
Right.
We want to make a countertop out of the wood from the building, and that's kind of the next step, and we have not done that, and we've found a good temporary solution, so we've just kind of lived with it for a little bit. Joel was unaware of exactly how temporary it is. So it was something like I was trying to plug something in behind the counter between the fridges. And I'm picturing literally broken cabinets and granola all over the ground because that's what the glass jar of granola, right? And so I'm annoyed. I'm like, right? And I don't know how to react. I'm like, I don't know what you like. What? And he's like, well, I was like, are the cabinets broken? And he's like, no. And clearly there's like a tone in my voice. And he said, you know, I was calling you for help, not judgment. And I was like, ew. Right?
I don't know if I want to continue. Joel Bundy just throwing a haymaker out of nowhere on a Thursday night. Man, you're like, turn the podcast back on, bitch.
No, it was perfect. One, I have used that exact saying on him before. And it was true. Like, it like snapped me back into reality. Like, what am I doing? Like, he's like literally calling me with his tail between his legs, like didn't know. And I'm responding like just a privileged, annoyed woman that like didn't want any other responsibility for the week. Like, how can you be bothering me? So I'm home. And so I'm like, well, I'm on my way. I'll come and I'll help you. And so the whole time I'm thinking, I know that I need to thank him for calling me out on that. And it was so freaking hard. Yeah. Like I didn't the whole way over, I like talked myself into it, and then we get here, and it was great. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just all internal. Like, he would have been very receptive to it. We were like very fine. But just for like where I am, I'm like, I need to acknowledge that I was kind of being a dick. And so it like, we did all this, we got home, we hung out at home for like, I just needed to like boost myself up.
Yeah,
and
you had to build up to the courage.
And I was curious, how well do you take feedback?
So that's interesting that you asked me that question. So I want it because I always want to do better, but I am very thin-skinned too. So like, where I know I need it to do better, I guess a lot of it might be depending on how it's said to me or who's saying it to me.
Yeah.
But I do value it, but there are definitely times where it's like it's a razor cut. It's not anything that helps me. It hurts me.
Yeah.
And I've said that to people because people will often say, one trait that I've heard said of me is that I appear very confident.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm so easily influenced and affected and hurt by words. I'm a very word guy. I'm a very word guy.
You are sensitive.
But the same way, if you say thank you or that was really good, I am like, I don't need a gift. I don't need. There's a book called
the Love Languages.
Yes, and I am terms of affection or terms of something. I like words.
Okay.
I like you to say nice things to me.
Okay.
You don't have to buy me anything. You don't have to do anything for me. Just saying, hey, Sean, like, when somebody gets on Facebook and it's like, that Coach Sean's class was awesome. I'm just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
But as easy the other way, if somebody's like, like the DJ jokes, right? So remember the DJ jokes about you and music?
Yes.
Those would have destroyed me.
I'm the worst DJ.
Those would have destroyed me. I would have never told anybody.
You also care about music. I care about music. I don't know shit about music. Like, I know that.
Well,
I think I started that one. I'm pretty sure. That was my doing.
Well, and that was another Joel moment where he's like, I was in the kitchen and I heard it, and it was the worst DJing I've ever heard. But again, even in jest, like those types of things.
Yeah.
More than like somebody ignoring me or somebody, I don't know. But anyway.
Do you think that covers the board, or do you think that's like specific genres? Because that kind of, like, to me, I get sensitive around work ethic, which we've talked about before. Like, somebody made a very, very innocent statement to me that said something like, man, you haven't even been there the last 3 times I've come to class. Do you even still work there?
See, that shit, I'm like, oh.
And it totally intended to be funny, right?
Like, I know.
That one hurt.
I know. Oh my God, it hurt me. My feelings are hurt.
Right, but I have to like think it through. I can't,
right.
Sit in that. That's my own insecurity around working enough.
Yeah.
Like, are there areas that you are just secure and, like, I'm secure enough in my poor music, ability to know that I am the worst DJ of all the coaches at the gym?
I think I'm very vulnerable in general. I'm very, I exude something that's inside probably more fragile than people realize.
Well, I was going to say, do you think that has to do, is there a connection, which is going to lead us into our member message, because is there then a connection with what's going on with your inner critic? Like, what are you telling yourself? And do you then believe that feedback? Is that where some of that comes from? But, well, turn it into a positive here for just a second, but then we'll go back.
Okay. I'll get the tissues here in a minute. I think I might end up crying.
Right? I mean, I think it's a real conversation, though, because we talk to ourselves all the time.
All the time.
We talk to the most. All the time.
All the time.
So, I got a message. I'm going to read it. It says, I just have to say thank you. I always feel better after leaving Heirloom. My inner critic is not so kind, and it's nice to have someplace that after I leave, I'm much kinder to myself. You have created a very cool thing, and I know how hard that is after many years at other gyms. So keep doing what you're doing and definitely making a difference. So awesome, right? Like to have any sort of impact that can alter these like negative thought spirals that we go through with ourselves, that would be amazing, right? That if we could become associated with something that might break that thought loop. Hey, girl.
Right. Well, I would like to point out, hey, honey, you came.
I know, I forgot that you said you wanted to.
Well, I was just saying you could be a guest. Sue's going to give us an update.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, so but we can't see you now. See, I didn't think you didn't tell me you were coming, so then I didn't make room or anything.
I'm sorry.
No. Where's our communication?
I know. It's breaking down. Hi, everybody.
But you should give them a quick update. Hang out for a quick minute. Here, you take my time. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We're spontaneous.
What's that?
So we're spontaneous.
Yeah, no. Everybody Sue.
Hi.
Sue, everybody. Sue is Sean's wife,
Currently.
my best friend, leader of the pack around here, does all the things. It just said a follow-up.
After my surgery, so I'm allowed to start being a normal human being again.
Oh,
But I can't do CrossFit for 2 months.
that's not a normal
So,
thing.
you know, I'm
Those
like,
two statements don't go
they
together.
don't go together. So it means I have to go back to work, which I'm kind of bummed about, but. And I also can't do this yet, which I'm equally bummed about.
Yeah.
But at least I can like do more than I was.
What is it about the exercise, like the impact or?
Exertion, impact, just like that more vigorous movement. 6 weeks is kind of the more fun, like intense. So.
And do you have any like carryover residual effects?
Pressure. There's like a scab in there that they're waiting for that to like heal up and fall up kind of thing.
Do you still have to keep it moist?
Yeah. So I've got like just needle spray and Sean's mom's wonderful little humidifier, which I love. It's fantastic. So I sit in front of that a few times a day. Yeah. So yeah, just I feel pressure when I stop moving. Like kind of like when you wrap your finger tight with a Band-Aid, you feel it pulsing with your heartbeat.
Yes.
That's what I feel.
What a good analogy.
Yeah.
Words.
So it's not like throbbing.
You married the right girl.
Those aren't the words I'm talking about here.
I can only imagine what you're talking about.
That's right. We could totally put her on the spot.
Please don't put me on the spot.
So, how well do you take feedback? That's what we were talking about.
Really? Well, no. Feedback's different than criticism.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
Spelling.
Spelling, situation.
You spelled heirloom wrong.
Are you talking about in here? I consider this to be feedback. I consider everyday life to be criticism.
Okay, let's call it criticism then.
So, yeah.
It's hard,
Do
isn't
well
it?
with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
I'm not going to retell my story from last night. You'll listen. You can
okay.
laugh at me either.
Okay.
I got some good solid feedback, and we were talking about how well your husband takes feedback.
How well do you think I handle criticism?
Not as well as I do. Which is not great.
We've got two sensitive souls over here, just living and dying off every word you got to say to them. So you be careful out there. They're delicate, delicate creatures.
Right.
Yeah, I get what you're
all
saying.
about that. Like,
Yeah.
Because that's something I want to improve on, not my own personal being.
Thanks for the clarification.
That's hilarious that she just said that. I want my clean to get better, but not me.
Not me. I'm fine.
You are. You are.
Fine, you're fine, we're fine, everybody's fine.
Which is funny though, because some people do actually tie the two together. Like there are some people that don't take feedback well in the gym.
Right? Yeah.
So your self-worth is not tied to your snatch. PR? I guess that's okay. No, I think that's great. So you came by. Are you hanging out?
No, I don't think so.
Are you just driving back through town?
Yeah. Well, no, we went home, and then I was like, oh, I was supposed to come in for the podcast. So here I
That's
am.
hilarious.
I know. Well, Tom's just sleeping, and he's the packer of all the things for camping.
Let's talk about that. My son.
So I was just like, well, I'm just hanging out anyway. I might as well go in and see you guys.
Because I had said that we were going to get her and Joel on the show. So, but
Yeah.
she didn't tell me she's coming.
Don't
Not
apologize.
Listen, the two people watching right now, let's see, trying to get better at that since Kara called.
Ooh, what did that say?
He said trying to get better at that since Kara called me out on it. Oh, so see? So when I was back here going, Matt O'Connell.
I'm working on it too, man. I'm working on it too. I wonder if that's why I'm so in tune to it. But it's definitely something that I'm working on it myself, so I'm aware of it with everybody else. Right? Yeah.
People are aware, I should say. I know
But yeah. Because I think what we were talking about, or what you were getting ready to talk about, or had just talked about, one of those things, was how sensitive you were, and it didn't really matter what. Like, I think it's important to not consider our feedback needs to be a direct correlation to how well the feedback was given to us. Like, I get some really bad feedback, like poorly worded, poorly just presented, but I can't necessarily respond in the same manner. Like, learning to take feedback gracefully, even when it's not gracefully given, is
That's hard.
That's a whole different animal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like then it just makes you super aware of like, wait, how are people giving feedback, and what are they saying, and how are they responding, and yeah.
All right, let's switch seats. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Good.
This is the second time you've been in the bar post-surgery?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think so. Jeez. I know.
Monday's 4 weeks.
Yes.
You're better.
Thanks for the update.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting better. So.
Moving in the right
I
direction.
decided to kayak and ride my bike this weekend. Those are my two goals.
That'll be the first
To
physical
move a little
activity.
bit.
Yeah.
No, anything too crazy.
Awesome.
Okay. Enjoy your chat.
Love you.
Bye.
See you home.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you.
Barged in. Oh.
5 second delay, Kara.
Oh, sorry.
Three.
She does have a
Oh, she's gonna watch this.
She is gonna watch this. So do you have any idea what you were gonna say?
Well, you were no.
No, I don't know. I know.
Well, no, I do remember because you weren't done presenting. I think what you were going to ask me, but I was thinking as you were talking that. This is definitely not the direction we're going to go, but I think it's worth noting.
Yeah.
A lot of what you're getting from members, almost all of it, is never about like a PR. It's never really their physical, like they've done something physically. It might be their overall fitness, maybe, but a lot of it is like community and the mental challenge and the habits and the camaraderie and all those things that I think separates us from everybody else. But I just wanted to say that. But anyway, back to what you were going to throw at me. The member said about inner critic, and I forget what you were going to say.
Yeah, I've totally lost my train of thought. I read you the message, right?
You did.
Yeah.
And just that their inner critic is a harsh one, and that when they came here, it kind of reset their focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
If we
what
could be
the member was saying.
associated with that
Right.
in any way, that's super cool.
Without a doubt.
Do you have a prominent inner critic voice? Like a repeated message? Like mine is that, like, am I working enough? That's my constant. Like, so today we both, you got here today. I was like, how's your day? You're like, great, I did nothing. And like, it's a Friday afternoon. I would say in my household, what I did today would be considered a day off, but I still accomplished a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of just mind games I play with myself about like when I'm working and when I'm not and what that looks like and getting familiar with just the constant kind of gray area of it all. Because I can like watch a Netflix movie in the background while I'm doing programming for,
Right.
you know, kind of, I can watch a podcast while I'm, you know, playing around with emailing people back and forth or, you know, like getting caught up on things for the day. And so it just, I think just the fact that I get to choose that, I am constantly second guessing myself.
Interesting. I think my most constant inner critic is searching for, I don't know if it's necessarily acceptance or the feeling of competence from wherever. So if I'm at school or if I'm coaching or at cross country or here at Heirloom, or I want to feel like I'm doing it right. I always want to do the job right. So most of the time, now at home, I think it's competence in my role as a father and husband and just like making sure the stuff that I'm supposed to do gets done. So the yard gets done, this gets done, and I moved the stone or I did this because those are the things that I need to do in my role as we have gotten in our routines of. So that Sue doesn't feel like I let her down as a husband. My runners don't feel like I let them down as a coach. My fellow teachers don't think that I let them down. So I'm only, you know, our members don't feel like they get let down when I'm coaching a class. So I think that's my most common inner critic.
So you have really high expectations of yourself. Like, would you consider yourself judgmental?
I don't think I have high. I want acceptance. It's all about what you think of me.
Okay.
That's what is probably my most common critic is I'm searching for.
You don't care if the expectations are low as long as I accept
I'll need them.
It doesn't matter.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
So in that regard, then I do want to do it better than the other people.
Okay.
But yeah, I think at least just out loud as you're asking me that.
No, that's
would be the
thoughtful.
most common critic.
And then how do you talk yourself through those situations, like when you don't feel accepted? When was the last time you didn't feel accepted?
We did the speed workout with CMS Tuesday morning. Not that they didn't accept me, I just felt like an outsider because I don't do anything with them anymore. So I wouldn't say that they were awesome.
Yeah.
I loved running with them, but I didn't have the stories and the kind of the vibe that they had because they've been training in and out with each other.
Yeah.
And I was new to the group. But they were awesome in that they were like, well, here's what we do. Come join us, and excited that I was there.
Yeah.
But I wasn't on the in.
Like that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the things when we started where you were like, make sure, have conversations with people because it's easy. I was the guy that would only talk to the people I knew at the gym.
Yep.
I would make you feel like you weren't included in a heartbeat, not intentionally, just because, I know you and we get along, I'm going to talk to you.
Yep. I was just watching when you came in a podcast, but it was just the very beginning part of the podcast with a couple that own an online programming company called Street Parking that we are huge fans of. And they have like exploded, right? Because they're online and it's all, if you work out from home and have no aspirations to join a gym, I highly recommend
My mom's
Street
a member.
Parking. I highly recommend Street Parking. And the question was like, after your business exploded, like what was the first thing that, like, what's your biggest headache now? Like clearly it's not sales and marketing and they've got their like branding intact and they do all kinds of fun events and all kinds of things. And the answer was just being extraordinarily articulate in communicating their mission and their vision to everyone that they hire. So then they don't have to have their hands in every newsletter that goes out and I feel the same way on a much smaller scale, right? But the more that Team Heirloom can sit around and chat about like what our goal and mission is and how we want people to feel when they're here, then I don't feel the need to have to be here right? Like so then I'm testing those boundaries of like this place will survive without my constant presence, and that's important. for the life cycle of the business for one, but so it's just as much of a challenge for me. I mean, there were weeks that I would just watch every class on the camera from home.
Right. Well, but I can totally understand that.
Right.
I can totally understand that. Sometimes when you don't come in and I'm like, that's trust.
Yeah,
That's trust.
is.
Like this is your baby, and I'm a control freak, so I would be like, it would take me a while to kind of get to where you're at. I mean, that's.
And I feel like it's taken me a while, but at the same time, I feel like it's been quick, right? And you guys are great. I think that I feel there's an extraordinary amount of trust in all of you as coaches to take care of all of the members, whatever class it is. Like Chris coached his first Barn Fit class last night.
Yeah. Oh, I remember the chats about how that was going to go down.
He didn't break anybody.
No crying?
No, nobody cried. Nobody quit. Nobody left.
There we go.
I got positive feedback. It's one of, you just.
Should we tell them now? Do they need to know? I mean, what's about to go down the channel in 2 weeks, week and a half?
Let's talk about that.
Okay. Barn Fit, Monday, 6 p.m. My show. Because unfortunately, my 4:45 people and my 9 o'clock people, our time is limited. Going back to Mama Bear because of cross country and school. So trying to stay involved. I don't want to completely stop coaching. So right now, we're going to test out Monday nights. And my 5:30 people, I'm going to work out with you. But Wednesdays, I'm going to coach you. So we're going to give that a try. And hopefully it's sustainable for me. I've never coached while coaching cross country. So that's going to be the real.
Yeah.
That'll be the question of how sustainable is it. We've already talked that we're going to just try it. If that doesn't work, maybe try some other options. But I don't want to just come here and work out and not coach. So Barn Fitters, I don't want to see attendance drop in on Monday nights because I'm there every Monday. Okay, I'm going to take that personally.
Attendance is going to spike now.
Well, that was a joke that we've also had, but whatever.
I'm the worst.
We got 24 people at Barn Fit. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I have to say, going back to the I am the worst DJ, one strategy that I tried to stick with for a while was that I would just play the playlist that the previous coach played in the previous class. Yeah. But I coach Monday Night Barn Fit, and Markin coaches Monday 4:45.
That's not going to work. That bitches ain't shit. No, that's not going to work. Okay?
That is a different demographic, I think. So I feel like you guys just set me up to fail. I blame you guys. Lots of trust, and then at the same time, lots of blame.
I love it. I would argue the two best DJs are Casey and Angie, in my opinion.
Oh.
In my opinion. They play the most variety.
I think you're all really good. I mean, honestly. It depends on the mood. But like I was here yesterday. There's music that I literally was doing something during Markin's class, and I was like, where does one find this? I do not know the words to search to find this.
So see, it did affect you, okay? So let's just see, this is me, right? This would be me. And then as soon as it go bad again, I'd be like, son of a.
Oh, it affected me in a way of like, I could get better.
Well, yes.
No, my
Not
feelings
shut
are
down,
hurt. It is music. People.
There will be no music played at Kara's classes. Silence.
Until you stop making fun of me, no music allowed.
It's the worst class ever.
Silent CrossFit.
Oh, that would be miserable.
That would be terrible.
Yeah.
That would be so much awkward, heavy breathing.
I have to have the music in many different ways. But anyway.
So kind of back to what you were saying, the whole Barn Fit and cross country, how are you feeling about fall? Because like fall approaching, and are you looking forward to it? Are you anxious? Are you excited? Are you blah? Are you?
There's a couple different. So I'm excited for the school year. I'm really hoping. I need people in my room. The virtual thing was better than. Well, excuse me. The hybrid was better than completely virtual. But I just need a room of bodies. So I'm excited for that.
Okay.
And whether we have to wear masks or not wear masks, as long as we're in the building, okay. Same with cross country. As long as we can have practice, I don't think they're going to make us mask while we're running. Okay. I'm excited for those things. I've been spoiled because for a year and a half, for the most part, I haven't had to coach cross country.
Yeah.
So I've been able to just coach.
Yep.
And especially this summer.
I know.
I mean, 6 classes plus run like the wind, I've been spoiled.
Crushing it.
It's been awesome. So this is the first time I've had to like pare back this in order to do that. And now all of a sudden that isn't necessarily, I'm excited, but at the same time, the group that I'm going back to coach has really kind of let me down this summer, which doesn't help. So if I had a group of motivated kids running miles with me instead of me and Maddie Nahr, which props to Maddie. I don't know if Maddie watches these or not, but like she's my buddy, man. I love running miles with that girl. But if my kids had been there with me, I think I'd be more excited to get with them next Wednesday. But now I'm like ready to like, I want to kind of choke slam them actually when I see it. Because they pretty much ghosted me. They won't respond to a text message. They won't respond to, because they know you can't fake it on day one if you've not run all summer. And now you're going to run 3 miles. Like, think about that, everybody.
Yeah, they're all in that, like, shame storm of, like, we're going to have to show up on day one having not run and face Coach Ranky and disappointed face-to-face.
But like Maddie brought up, knowing that once a week I've texted everybody about, I have a mileage chart of what everybody's done. It starts from day one or week one, so everybody's informed. And every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday that I was available the entire summer, I sent a message out, hey, does anybody want to run with me?
Yeah.
And it was Maddie. And then McLean Doty, alumni, Sarah Condon, alumni, Connor McCroy, alumni. And then I got a couple of my current runners like once or twice. So add that together, and that's why I'm not as excited for the fall. But I think, per your theory, once I get out there, we get some new blood, and I get into my old ways, I'll be fine. So.
I had a realization today that I was looking forward to fall, which I think is like just a huge supporter of the fact that I did take it easy this summer. Because now it's not like I have been covering as many classes as I needed to cover, and now I'm picking up extra classes. I got a break from you for picking up the classes. It was something you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And instead of like making myself be extra productive in other projects, I took the time to like enjoy the summer and chill out. I love the summer and just today I was like, you know what, guys, I was going through the schedule. I mean, you can talk to Sue. I get so confused about stupid spreadsheets.
We've got a spreadsheet that has every class and coach's names.
I can't keep up. I cannot keep up.
Cannot get it straight.
No.
Yeah. So, especially right now, because there's a lot in flux because of me leaving.
Yeah, and Angie's back full-time with Ironman, and so she's going to a couple of races and just trying to keep up, and I was like, almost like talking myself into being overwhelmed about it. And then I was looking at the schedule and I was like, no, like these are classes I haven't coached in a long time. And for as much as I've enjoyed the downtime and that it like hurts my feelings when people are like, oh, you're never there. Like I'm looking forward to being back more often. I've enjoyed it. So I'm kind of giddy excited. I feel like I'm starting school again too, because my whole schedule and daily routine is going to have to shift. Like I found a routine and I'm going to have to adjust and do it differently because 4:40 freaking 5.
Right. I will say
back to the circus.
Being a teacher does that every year. And there aren't many jobs that do that where you take a break from it. And I had somebody tell me they would hate that. Dean Goodwin one time said, oh, that would just drive me crazy. And I'm like, no, it's like, if I've had a decent summer, which I always have, I get excited. Like I get excited for football games, and I get excited for cross country, and I get excited for school to start. And the routine of, the week where I'm Monday through Friday and packing lunches. And, I even get excited about doing some work at home at night because like you, I haven't done it.
Yeah.
It wears off.
Right. But you have a nice setup, right? You've created an office and you have a TV in there, like you've created an environment.
Sundays are my day.
Like, how could I not look forward to being here more often?
Right. So that's good. I think I like the yin and the yang of that rather than just kind of trudging all the time.
How's your Break the Chain challenge going?
Oh, I'm doing excellent actually, but I have a funny story to tell you about that. So my Break the Chain is to read.
Okay.
Because I have all these books that I used to be a reader and then I got away from it, and I think I'd like to blame it on the cell phone, to be completely honest with you, and social media. Because I feel like as social media became popular, my reading, because when I just have downtime, I look at my phone. So Sue's surgery, actually, when she had her procedure, I was like, don't worry about the phone. I've been reading Hamilton for a while now,
because I keep putting it down. And I was like, I might be able to finish it, because I knew it was going to be a lot of time by myself. I didn't, but then this came along. And I was like, okay, we're going to read every day. Just get in the routine of reading. And I've been doing it. Like today, I was at home and I'm like, I'm not going out in this heat. I'm tired from the week. I worked really hard. I had a lot of running, a lot of CrossFit, a lot of coaching. And I rarely do that, but I'm like, I'm not going outside. And I'm sitting there, grabbed the remote, and I was like, why? So I put the remote down, I grabbed Hamilton, pulled it out, and I read a couple pages, right? So like huge victory. The other night I was going to bed and I like walked in the bedroom and I'm like, I've not read today. I was like, I read one page and then, but it counted. It counted.
So you
I didn't set a number.
Set a number.
And I like
and
that.
I think that counts. I think that matters, right? Like if you committed to it and you didn't overwhelm yourself with it.
Right. I knew it was going to be a doable challenge for a month, and that I'm really hoping creates that habit where when I have those opportunities where I could read or something else that's not productive. I think watching television is unproductive, but I didn't know what I wanted to watch. I was probably going to sit there and search for, like
for
if you got something you like,
your interest.
if you got your jam, go to it. But I don't have that right now.
Yeah.
So I'm really liking the way that's working.
I love it. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think, we've gotten some great feedback. I think it is, so the Break the Chain Challenge is just for the month of August, essentially pick a habit that you either want to initiate into your life or try to get into the habit of doing on a consistent basis, or something that you want to break. And mine is 3 meals a day, which sounds stupid, but the funny thing is it's not.
That's so crazy to me, but.
Well, what I said to Sue was the thing that I found myself with this intermittent schedule of like early mornings and then 9 a.m. and then 4:45 and then 6, I would find myself like, I'm like, okay, well, I'll have breakfast now before I go to the 9 o'clock, and then I'll have lunch. And then I would get done with the 9 o'clock and be like, okay, well, I'll have lunch now. And then I would have like lunch number 2, maybe, I guess you would call it. Or like I would come in, I would be going to come to 6 o'clock class, and I'd be like, well, I should eat before. I'm hungry now. I won't eat after. And then I would coach, and then I would get home, and Joel would have just made something. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'll have a bite of that.
Now I understand.
A bite turns into a dinner.
So when you originally said that, I thought you were missing meals.
No,
it wasn't. You just were consistently eating. You were eating multiple.
I was just eating meals a lot. Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah. And I just wasn't paying too much attention to it just because I don't have any necessarily like aesthetic goals. Funny enough, when you notice that you don't feel as well, like for me, like it is definitely one of those things where I'm like, I really genuinely, and I've challenged myself on this many times by just like observing, like I'm not offended by my body, but I don't like the way that it feels in workouts or then I was just like, oh, so that might be good just to like be more aware. And I was like, oh yeah.
Yep. I like the idea of eating healthy because it gives you more energy and makes you feel better, not because you're trying to look a certain way. Right. Like getting rid of just junk food or not snacking as much, or we're not trying to get a 6-pack. You're not trying to necessarily lose weight. It's just, you just feel better. You just have more energy. Totally. It's just,
Well, not even necessarily healthy, like a healthy caloric balance too. Like I feel like I eat fairly healthy. I mean, I'm not clean, strict, but like yesterday I had 2 slices of pizza that were left over, and I was like, you know what, I kind of went through what I had eaten, and I was like, this is one of my 3 meals that I am choosing to eat. Right? Like it's not like I'm in denial that it's not kale. I just like, is it a meal? I'm not like
pizza kale.
I mix them up all the time.
Yeah, I hate it when I do that. Of all the things that you could have like mixed pizza up with, and you have a kale. Anyway. But yeah, well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, what I think I'd like to do is, come September, add something else though. So like, I like this idea of devoting a month to something
I do too.
because I don't want to stop reading.
Well, and that's why, and I think a lot of that depends on where you're at in this kind of habit forming journey. Because I would say that you and I are probably farther along than some people. So where like I recommended a very strict only one thing for people. I also have a second thing, but I feel like this is not my first time doing this sort of a thing, and I had an understanding of kind of what my level of commitment readiness was.
Yep.
I didn't overwhelm myself, and so the second thing was the no alcohol, but during the week. It was a Sunday to Thursday, Friday. But honestly, just because it had become kind of this mindless thing that like summer happy hour, like just cold beer, cold wine, sunny days,
Sun came up.
afternoons, the sun, it was a new day. And the only way, like I was like, it would be nice to be kind of just intentional about like, let's just make sure,
Right.
we're doing what we want to be doing, which had a huge insightful moment for me this week,
Right. You're on.
which was interesting.
And I felt bad. In hindsight, I was super proud of you, but I didn't, I don't ever want to like tempt somebody that's trying to stop something, but I had my plans fall through.
On your birthday.
On my birthday, and I'm like, hey, I'm at
Tuesday.
RIR.
So this break the chain starts
I'm drinking
Monday.
beer.
Monday, first
Right.
day one. I'm not drinking alcohol. Sunday through Thursday.
And she gets a text on day
On
from me.
Tuesday afternoon, on your birthday, hey, my plans fell through. Meet me at RER. And my immediate response was, okay, I'll be right there.
Right.
And then like I had a whole moment of like, what is
You had a long moment. You
took a shower.
You took some shit, take a shower
I
before
took a
she
shower. Yeah. And going back to this whole like inner critic and these things that are what is going on within us as we try to like interact with the world is amazing to me. So my immediate response was, yep, I'll be right there. And then I was coming home from bringing the dogs for a walk. And so then it dawned on me that it was Tuesday and we just started this challenge. And my very first thought was, well, it's his birthday. I mean, I can make an exception, right? Like, this is very reasonable adult behavior. And then just is that really what I want? Like, what do I really need, what is the alcohol content of an Anna Coke Nectar?
7.2 maybe?
On a Tuesday afternoon, like in my mind, I'm like moving everything on my calendar to the next day. You're like accepting that nothing else is really going to get accomplished, right, that day. Hey! And then I was all like, but what I really want to do is hang out with Sean. Right? So, and it didn't have to be like go to the bar and have a beer or not go. Those weren't my only two options.
Yeah, I know.
And so I went to RER and I had a club soda and sat with you and Jerry Hayes. And it was great. I feel like it was awkward at first for both of us.
Yeah, I just
You were
felt bad.
dumbfounded.
I felt bad. I was like, oh, God, why did I do that to you?
No.
Because
then it wasn't a big deal, right? Like, then once you're there.
Because I was like, whatever. Yeah, without a doubt. And I would like to think for me that come September, that's the one I make an attempt at. Because that's the one I should have done for August and didn't have the courage.
So I will say, we have a couple of members that have mentioned to me that they are doing no alcohol and they're not telling anybody.
Yep.
And how hard it has been. And that was something that you immediately said you could relate to. You considered it and said it was not the right time for you.
I just don't have, so it's one of the, so I want it, but.
What do you want about it?
Because I know it's healthy, I know it's right, I know it's good, I know it's how it should be,
I don't like any of those reasons.
There's not a need to drink every day. There shouldn't be a need to drink every day.
Right?
Right. And so I created a habit now because I've allowed myself to do it for so long that the idea of being told no, even I know I'm not strong enough right now to not do it. So I can't hold I know right now if I said I've done it, you would be amazed how many times I have stopped drinking on a Sunday and started drinking on Monday.
I'm like, wait a minute, does that count?
Oh, so many times. No, I've never made it. I've never made it. But then I go to the hospital.
So tell me what happens in between there, like in between Sunday night and Monday.
It could be. It's
drunk
Monday morning.
Sunday night when you've decided?
Maybe, yeah. Or even during the day. Monday morning.
Or before you crack your first beer on Sunday, like I'll drink today, but I'm not starting tomorrow.
I'm starting tomorrow. You know, I got a couple in the fridge. We're gonna drink those.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you gotta go to the store to buy more.
Right.
So you're good. You won't do it. And then so I'll wake up, and then I'll work out, and I'll be like, yeah. And then I'll like work around the house. I'll be like, yeah, getting stuff done. I'm being productive. And then I'll be like, I'll coach class. 4:45. I'll coach the hell out of that class. I'll be like, you know what?
I deserve a beer.
Let's get a 6-pack. And I'll buy it. And I'll go and drink it.
Yep.
Not all 6 necessarily. Sometimes, yes, all 6.
Right.
But that is the psychology. If you were to talk to me when I wake up, I wouldn't drink 6 out of the 7 days a week, probably. 5 out of the 7 days a week, I probably wouldn't drink. And if you have a conversation with me by 5 o'clock, every single one of those days, I'm like, you want to go to the bar?
Right.
You want to get a glass of wine?
Yep.
You want to drink? So that's why I'd like to think by this month and creating a habit and seeing it work, and then school.
Yeah.
And then what happens a lot of times, so another way that I like to approach it is like, if I just run myself into the ground, I can't drink because I know I won't be able to work out. So then I'm like, but that's not really fixing the problem. That's just trying, I don't know, to bandage it. Like, what happens when I can't work out all the time? Then what do? Well, I already know what I do when I can't work out. I drink.
Well, does it have to be working out all the time, or is it just that when what the other things that you want to accomplish in life become more important than that? You know, because like I think back to, you know, Joel and I enjoyed drinking all the time. So there were years, you know, it's 1 glass of wine turns into 2 glasses of wine, turns into 3 glasses of wine a night. And you just kind of sustain that, right? I don't know. I don't know that that's abnormal or anything good or bad. It just was kind of the state of being.
It was your norm.
It was our norm. And then I started exercising. And then it was at that like tipping point of like when it started to really, so this is in Aruba. So we're like 2015. When I really started to get competitive with it with the people that I was training with, and it became the thing that I could tell was holding me back. And I graduated, then it was like 2 glasses of wine a night. And then it was like, so 3 glasses to 2 glasses of wine a night was way harder than 2 glasses to none.
Interesting.
Because the 3, you know, 3 glasses is the kind of buzz, and then the 2 glasses is like if that's all you're having, then it is kind of a buzz. But then the 1 is like, why?
What are you doing? What's the point?
What is the point? Right? And so then it pretty quickly then just turned into none. That then I think very equally ramped back up when we moved back here, and you know my social circles changed and my fitness goals changed and.
Started hanging out with me.
But I think to wrap it up, because you got to go coach class.
I do.
You got to work.
It's 4:19. They're not here yet.
Emily's here. I totally forgot about it.
Well, no, I was gonna. And I missed that. I've had that. I've been the person.
Yes.
You know, that had gone to parties and been like, I got a long run tomorrow, and I've got a marathon in November. So like, I have the perfect scenario where to shift the norm to help me, because I've got goals. I want to get back to Boston, right? And I can't get back to Boston doing what I'm doing now.
Right.
So I'm hoping that I've always been that way though as an athlete. I don't usually just do it to do it.
I gotcha.
This is different. But running. I don't run to run. I run to race. Whether it be to accomplish a distance or to do it in a certain time. I have to have an event I'm training for. Otherwise, I'm not with any consistency going to lace up the shoes and run.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do it, but not with any consistency.
Right.
And I'll just do it because I've run my whole life.
Yeah.
So the recipe's there for me to make the right decision.
Well, and I remember what I was going to say was we really suggested that everybody pick the low-hanging fruit this time around in hopes that it would kind of build, and that we pick the thing. That's why I didn't go all in on the no alcohol. That's just not sustainable for my choice of a lifestyle.
Yep.
And so why do I need to do that for a month if I know then I'm just going to shift back? Why not pick something that I feel like might this be easily sustainable after, or create some different habit patterns? So I like where your head's at with
for
that.
anybody listening, though, that's huge. Like the low-hanging fruit, because you have success, right? So at the end of August, I'm going to do something that I've been successful.
And I think you build trust with yourself. Like, how many people shoot for the stars and then just quit on themselves 10 days in, and now you have no credibility with yourself.
Right.
So you don't trust what you say, you don't believe in yourself.
Mm.
So it's like, pick the easy thing. Not that reading's easy, but you could literally read a page in 5 minutes. It is really easy.
It is really
There's
easy.
no stress to it, but like, pick that. Maybe it's make your bed, or like drink the glass of water in the morning, or 10 squats or something, but something that you inside really know that you can hold yourself to. So then at the end of the month, you can really like celebrate your accomplishment and then build on it.
I agree.
All right. Well,
Set
happy
yourself
Friday.
up for success.
Set yourself up for success.
Yeah, happy Friday. So I don't know what we're going to be doing, because next Friday, I don't know. And I mean, our 2 followers, we're not sure.
They
just
are
on pins and needles, just like, what am I going to do if Kara and Sean?
Wait, is there another time?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We've got to figure it out.
I would
Because it could be any time.
I could even come after practice Friday, which would be at the end of, I don't.
Like happy hour?
Yeah, but we'll see.
What time do you have
Maybe
to
on
be
the
at school
weekend.
in the morning?
7. I mean, I think it's 7:30, but I like to get there early.
Yeah.
So
All right.
we'll
Yeah.
talk. We'll figure it out. Just like my coaching schedule, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So
Love you.
love you too.
I just want to say these words to you right now, that you're one of my favorite people.
You're one of my favorite people too.
Thanks.
Go, I wasn't gonna cry.